In contrast to my unwavering support for Iowa ethanol and agriculture, Ron DeSanctiminous wants to bankrupt the Iowa farmers. He does. He was totally against anything having to do with ethanol. And now all of a sudden he's a big ethanol proponent. But one thing about politicians, when they start that way, that's the way they end. They change for elections, but then they immediately go back. I've seen that plenty. DeSantis spent his entire political career vindictively trying to kill the ethanol industry, voting again and again to devastate Iowa families by eliminating the billions and billions of dollars generated each year from ethanol and wiping out about 48,000 jobs. So he was totally opposed to ethanol. You have to go back and look at the old clips. You know who he loved? Do you know who he loved? Fauci. Well, he loved me too. Yeah, I got him elected, so he loved me because I got him elected. He loved me. And yeah, I did. Then 4 years later, they said, will you vote? Will you vote or will you run against President Trump? And he said, I have no comment. They said, no comment. You know what that means, no comment. No comment means he's going to run. And I said, this guy's going to run. Now, he was so far down that George Washington, if George Washington came back from the dead, he couldn't have helped him. Maybe Lincoln and Washington together, but I doubt it. No, he was dead. He was gone, and I helped him, and I got him in. Then I got him past the general election. I got him past both of them. And then 4 years later, they said, will you run against the president? He said, I have no comment. I said, no comment. That means, Brenna, that means you're going to run to me. And a lot of my people said, sir, don't attack him. He's a Republican. I said, no, thanks. I don't need your advice. And my highly paid consultant. And speaking of that, I got your governor elected too, by the way. Isn't that terrible? Isn't that terrible? I took Terry Branstad, great governor, 24 years, set a record, moved him to China as the ambassador, did a great job. He knew Xi because he was selling corn many, many years ago, and Xi was a buyer. I mean, they actually knew each other. I said, what a perfect fit that would be. So I moved him. I said, Terry, you've been there. You set a record. Good guy. And she was a lieutenant governor, so she took over. But then she was losing badly to a very rich, they say good-looking, but that's not my thing, farmer, a rich and good-looking farmer. And she was losing badly, and she called, would you endorse me, and would you campaign for me? Would you do a rally, a big, beautiful rally? I did it, and she ended up winning the election. And then she said she was going to be neutral on this election. And I said, well, I'd like to be neutral also, but that's not the way life works, you know. So I said, don't come around to any of our rallies. I don't want you. And that's the story. And then she endorsed somebody that has no chance of winning. He has no chance of winning. But she did that, and I don't blame her, you know, because I didn't want much to do with her. But she endorsed somebody that has no chance. So think of this. So she goes out and she endorses, and she was one of the most popular governors in the nation. And now she's proudly the least popular governor in the entire nation. Did you see that? I couldn't believe it. But anyway, well, that's the way it is, you know. We love loyalty in life, don't you think? Loyalty, like loyalty to everything. If DeSantis had his way, the economy of your state would be blown to shreds, and there really wouldn't be, because he would be against ethanol. He will be against ethanol if anything ever happened, like a minor miracle. I would call it a major miracle. Unlike DeSantis, I will be your ethanol champion for 4 more years, and I'll be a farmer's champion and a manufacturer's. You know, you're a big manufacturing state. A lot of people don't talk about it, but we're going to be everything for your state.